Okay, another one for my fashion and art school students. I just had lunch with a friend of mine. Her name is Joanne Jack. She's one of the powers that be behind Entrepreneurship Day in San Diego. It's a great event. If you're ever down here and have a chance to come out to it, as this is post-dating, there's one coming up in September. So check out the website and come out if you have a chance to. Joanne has worked in fashion for quite a long time, much longer than me, and she's also an instructor and one of the powers that be over at Phenom here in San Diego. That's a Fashion Institute of Merchandising and Design. So we had an interesting conversation. I have a couple of friends that have worked at Phenom in the campus in Los Angeles as well, and I speak there from time to time as well. What I wanted to say for fashion school students is, there seems to be an ongoing thread to a lot of instructors that I talk to. And I'm enamored with education. I think education is really important. When I say education, I mean, though, really knowing the fiber of exactly what you're doing. So apart from school and what you might do for a degree, you're going to have a learning curve for whatever you do in the field of fashion, whatever you're going to do or wherever that takes you, if it's design, whatever studio you work at, etc. So realize that process of learning is an ongoing thing, and I always try to take any advantage I can to learn as much as possible. I've said this before, but even along this journey, you guys get to watch me as I grow. Although most of the time I'm teaching, I'm actually growing in this process as well. In any case, I feel like my whole point for this video, and it's directed towards the mental attitude of a lot of fashion school students, and my friends that are instructors or teachers might not necessarily say that. They might communicate this, but I get to say this, is you guys got to work your ass off. You got to work your ass off. I kind of came up in a time where it was very prosperous to work in fashion. There were jobs and companies and opportunity everywhere. People were selling $15,000 worth of product from one door in the early 2000s. Before we kind of hit a boom. And now anyone that's in fashion school or art school, as this is post-dating, know that this is a very tough time. Along with that, I want to say, if you get through this time, I think things can only get better. There's a possibility it can get worse, of course, but if you can kind of tough through and have the chops to make it through the next few years or the whole beginning part of your career, then you should be good. But I think there's a good number of students that don't demonstrate that in class and think that things need to be handed to them and think that because they are paying for an education that they're entitled to certain things. What I wanted to say, and I say this every time I'm inside of a classroom, is outside of that classroom, you are a normal person and no one owes you anything. So the minute you get your piece of paper that says you have your associates or your degree in whatever that is, you have to go hustle for that job. Hopefully you've already interned at a place that either has given you experience or might even give you your first job. Either way, you got to take it for what it is, and you got to keep going out there and hustling. And people get surprised by this because they're in class mode when I'm talking to them, if I'm guest speaking in a class. What I'm saying is it's really tough out here. It's tough in fashion in 2013, as this is post-dating. It's a really tough economy. And if you're the top person in your class, there's a top person in 100 art schools across the U.S. and fashion schools. I mean, FIT, Parsons, everyone that has a program is going to have a top student. And you're going to compete with all those people for the same jobs. And not only those people, and people that have experience and people that are veterans might be going for the same job that you're going for. So it's tough out there and it's brutal. You might have to do an unpaid internship. I just want to highlight that there's a lot of students that kind of have this attitude that after they're done with school, some job is just going to float their way. And what I'm telling you is it's completely the opposite. You have to pay to have the right to work in an industry that you're passionate about. And you have to be passionate about it, because otherwise people would think you're crazy to do the things that you're going to have to do in order to become successful in your career. It sounds really simple. Again, like most of the videos on my channel, it sounds really simple. But what I want to say to art school students is you've got to be extremely aggressive about getting work. I would say during art school, get as many internships as possible, get your resume as thick as possible. But once you're done and it's ready, set, go, boom, you need to be aggressive about getting a job because school is not going to hand it to you. It's going to give you some skills and definitely a ton of benefit, a good amount of experiences. But that's in school. So you need to then take those things that you learn and apply it to real life situations. Hope that helps. Just wanted to bring that up because I had a great conversation about it. Comments, anything to add to the video, drop it down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.